This is something that I would have done if I wasn't into skating. I love to like warm up, and it's kind of just something we like to do.
Everyone saw the jump. Nobody saw what his parents gave up to make it possible. The night Ilya Malinin landed the impossible, the crowd lost its mind. But nobody in that arena knew what it cost him to get there. Most people saw a teenager defy gravity on the Olympic ice. They saw perfection. They saw a smile. What they didn't see, what the cameras almost missed, was a young man skating not just for gold, but for survival, for family, for a story that started long before he ever laced up a single skate. And here's the part that nobody is talking about. Before Ilya Malinin became the quad god, before the world records, before the standing ovations, his family was quietly falling apart in ways that would have broken most people twice his age. Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you is not what you read in the highlight reels. Ilya Malinin was born into skating royalty, and that sounds glamorous until you understand what it actually means. His parents, Roman Skorniakov and Tatiana Malinina, were both elite competitive skaters in their own right. His father competed for Uzbekistan. His mother was a celebrated figure skater who represented her country on international stages. On paper, Ilya was destined for greatness. In reality, destiny came wrapped in sacrifice, pressure, and pain that most families never have to face. Here's what the Olympic broadcast didn't show you. When Ilya was young, his family made one of the most difficult decisions a family can make. They uprooted everything, their careers, their language, their identity, and immigrated to the United States. They left behind a world they understood for a world that didn't know their names. Roman and Tatiana weren't just parents driving their son to practice. They were coaches rebuilding their entire professional lives from scratch on foreign soil, gambling everything on a child who hadn't yet proven he was worth the bet. That is a specific kind of pressure. The kind that doesn't show up in sports documentaries. The kind that sits at the dinner table and doesn't leave. Now, let me tell you about the injury that almost ended everything. Competitive figure skating, especially at the level Ilya was pursuing, is one of the most physically brutal sports on Earth. The human body was not designed to rotate 4 times in the air and land on a single blade. Every elite skater carries a history of injuries the way other people carry scars. But for Ilya, the physical toll came at a moment when his family could least afford it. Emotionally, financially, logistically. His parents had poured years of their lives into his training. And suddenly, the dream was on ice, not in the triumphant sense. What happens to a family when the thing they sacrificed everything for suddenly becomes uncertain? That's the question nobody asked Ilya in the post-competition interviews. Instead, they asked him how it felt to land the quadruple axel. And he smiled. Because that's what champions do. They protect their family's pain from the world. But here's the twist that changes everything. The adversity didn't break the Malinskis. It rebuilt them. See, Roman and Tatiana were not just parents watching from the bleachers. They were his coaches. Every single day, the people responsible for pushing him harder were also the people responsible for loving him unconditionally. That dynamic, that impossible, beautiful, complicated dynamic, is what forged Ilya Malinin into something the skating world had never seen before. Think about what that relationship actually looks like. Your father looks you in the eye and tells you the jump wasn't good enough. Then an hour later, that same man is making dinner and asking if you're okay. Your mother breaks down the technical flaw in your rotation, then holds you when the pressure becomes too much. There is no separation between coach and parent, between critic and protector, between the person who demands more and the person who loves you no matter what. Most athletes would collapse under that weight. Ilya Malinin thrived. And at the 2024 World Championships, and then again at the 2026 Olympics, The world finally saw what that kind of family pressure, sacrifice, and love produces. Ilya didn't just win. He obliterated records. He landed jumps that weren't supposed to exist in competition. He skated programs so technically superior and so emotionally charged that judges ran out of ways to score him properly. But here is the moment that broke the internet and broke a few hearts simultaneously. When the scores came up, when it was official, when the numbers confirmed what everyone had just witnessed, the camera found Ilya's parents in the kiss and cry. And what you saw on their faces was not just pride. It was release. It was the exhale of people who had carried something enormous for a very long time and had finally been allowed to put it down. Roman Skorniakov, a man who had spent decades in this sport, who had given up his own competitive legacy, who had rebuilt his life in a foreign country for this moment, was crying. And not the polite kind of crying you do when you're happy at a wedding. The deep kind. The kind that comes from somewhere that has nothing to do with scores or gold medals. That moment right there, that's the real story. Not the quadruple axel. Not the world record. The real story is a family that refused to let tragedy become their ending. A family that took everything the world threw at them: immigration, financial strain, physical injury, impossible expectations, and turned it into fuel. There's a lesson buried in Ilya Malinin story that goes far beyond figure skating. In a world that celebrates the result and ignores the process, in a culture that loves the highlight reel and skips the behind-the-scenes footage, Ilya's family is proof that the most powerful thing a human being can do is refuse to quit when quitting would have been completely understandable. His parents didn't just raise a champion. They became his foundation when the ground was shaking. And Ilya, this kid who was supposed to be too young, too ambitious, too aggressive in his jump selections, stood on top of the world and proved every single doubter wrong. When you think about the people in your own life who sacrificed something for you, quietly, without asking for credit, without demanding recognition, do they know what their sacrifice produced? Does your family know what their love built? Because Ilya Malinin landed the impossible jump. But his parents, they were the ice beneath his feet the whole time. If this story moved you, if it made you think about something bigger than sport, then you already know what to do. Hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe, because we go this deep every single week. And drop a comment below telling me, what is the biggest sacrifice someone made for you that you've never fully acknowledged? I'll be reading every single one.